"Happy birthday, dear," my mother-in-law Catherine whispered, her smile not reaching her eyes. She pressed a cream-colored envelope into my hand, her fingers cold against mine. 100 pairs of eyes were on me. My friends, my family, her society friends, all waiting for me to open my special gift. I saw the embossed family crest and my heart swelled. After 3 years of trying, of feeling like an outsider, was this it? The moment she finally accepted me. My hands were shaking as I broke the seal. Inside wasn't a check, a deed, or a heartfelt letter. It was a single, folded document. Petition for dissolution of marriage. And at the bottom, already signed 2 weeks ago in blue ink, was my husband's name. Michael. I looked up. The room was still smiling. Catherine's friends leaned in, champagne glasses paused, their expressions hungry. My own mother was beaming, thinking her daughter was finally being welcomed. And Catherine. She was still smiling, that soft, sympathetic smile, like she'd just put a wounded animal out of its misery. This wasn't a party. It was a public execution. And I was the main event. I was supposed to cry, to run, to give them the show they came for. Instead, I took a sip of my champagne, looked my mother-in-law dead in the eye, and gave her a show she would never forget. My name is Ava Mitchell. Catherine thought this was her game, and I was just a pawn. She thought wrong, because in her game the pawn gets to the other side and becomes the queen. I'm a senior hospital administrator in Chicago. I manage 40 people and a $12 million budget. I put myself through grad school working 2 jobs. My mom raised me and my brother in a 2-bedroom apartment in Phoenix after my dad left. I earned everything I have. Michael was my husband. We met at a hospital fundraiser. He's a wealth management consultant. Quiet. The kind of man who asks permission before making decisions. I loved him because he seemed kind, and after watching my mom struggle alone, kindness felt like enough. Then there's Catherine Richardson. Old money. Not Forbes list money, but trust fund since the 1920s money. She volunteers at the opera. Sits on 3 nonprofit boards. People call her for advice on delicate matters. For the 3 years I was married to her son, she made it her mission to make me feel small. It was in the way she never called me Ava, only dear or sweetheart. It was the constant late-night calls to Michael, just to hear his voice. I was the daughter-in-law cropped out of family photos with a casual excuse like, "Oh, the lighting was just bad on that side, dear." In front of her friends, I wasn't his wife, but just Michael's friend, a nobody. But I tried. I kept showing up, kept achieving, kept being professional, because I thought if I just proved myself, she'd see I was good enough. She saw exactly what she wanted to see. A threat, an outsider, someone who needed to be removed. 6 weeks before my 30th birthday, Catherine called me directly. Not Michael. Me. Her voice was warm, almost sweet. She told me she'd been thinking. A milestone birthday like this deserved something special. She wanted to throw me a party at the Rosewood Country Club, the club I'd never been allowed to set foot in before. Members only, dear. I'm sure you understand. She'd handle everything, the invitations, the decor, the guest list. I just needed to show up and be celebrated. I said yes, because I wanted so badly to believe her. Michael was thrilled. He used the word breakthrough. My mom cried when I told her. "See, baby? I told you. Sometimes people just need time." The invitations went out on cream cardstock with gold lettering. Catherine insisted I invite everyone. My friends, my colleagues, my family. "This is about showing everyone how proud we are to have you in the family." Looking back, the red flags were everywhere. She picked out my dress. White silk, elegant, expensive. "Trust me, darling, you'll look perfect." Why white? Why did she want me in white? Michael got weird 2 days before the party. Distant. He kept starting sentences and not finishing them. "Ava, I think we should talk about..." And then his phone would ring. Always Catherine. He'd step outside and come back looking pale. But I ignored it. Because I was going to my birthday party at a country club I'd never been allowed into, wearing a dress my mother-in-law picked out, surrounded by everyone I loved. I was a lamb being led to slaughter, and I even wore the outfit they picked. The party was beautiful, I'll give her that. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the golf course. Candles everywhere. A champagne tower catching the light like crystal. White linens, gold-rimmed china. A string quartet playing Vivaldi. My mom flew in from Phoenix in the dress I bought her. She looked so proud. Sarah came from Boston just for this. My entire hospital team showed up. Even my boss, Dr. Hammond, who hates social events. And Catherine's people. Her society friends in cocktail dresses that cost more than my car. Men in custom suits. The board members from her foundation. Her book club. Her tennis partners. I walked in and they all turned. Smiling, clapping. It felt like a dream. Michael kissed my cheek when I arrived. His hand was shaking. "You look beautiful," he whispered, but he wouldn't look at me. His eyes kept darting to his mother. Catherine swept over in a gold gown, all warmth and elegance. "There she is, the woman of the hour." She linked her arm through mine and walked me around like we were best friends. She introduced me to everyone. "This is Ava, Michael's wife. Isn't she lovely?" But there was something in their eyes. Something I couldn't read. Like they were waiting. My mom grabbed my hand, tears streaming. "Baby, I'm so happy. I knew she'd come around. This is your moment." She was beaming. My mom, who worked 3 jobs to put me through school. She thought Catherine had finally accepted me. Dinner was served. Filet mignon. Truffle potatoes. Food that probably cost more per bite than my childhood dinners cost per week. I barely tasted it. Because Michael looked like he was going to throw up. Because the room felt like it was holding its breath. The champagne kept flowing. People laughing, celebrating. But the way they looked at me felt wrong, like I was a joke they were all in on. Then Catherine stood up, tapped her glass with a fork. The crystal ring echoed through the ballroom. The room went silent. The quartet stopped playing. She smiled at me. That soft, sympathetic smile I'd seen 1,000 times. She started talking about how special 30 was. The age where we really understand who we are and what we deserve. Polite laughter rippled through the room. She went on about my time in their family. What a journey it's been. She's certainly ambitious, so driven. She's made quite an impression. More laughter, more glances exchanged. Then she said she wanted to give me something special, something meaningful. Something that honors exactly who you are and what you truly deserve. She reached into her clutch, pulled out that cream envelope. She reached into her clutch, pulled out that cream envelope. She leaned across the table, that practiced smile still on her face, the entire room watching, holding their breath. She placed it in my hands. My hands were shaking as I opened it. The papers rustled in the silent room. Petition for dissolution of marriage. His signature. Michael's signature. Already there in blue ink. I looked up. Everyone was still smiling. My mom's face hadn't changed yet because she couldn't read the header. But Catherine's friends? They knew. They were leaning forward, champagne glasses paused. They'd been invited to watch this. Michael was staring at his plate. His sister Emma was in the back, her face stricken. And Catherine? She was looking at me with that soft, sympathetic smile. That's when my mom saw it. I watched the joy drain from her eyes. The room was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. I was supposed to cry, to run, to make a scene. But you know what happens when you're humiliated in front of 100 people? Your brain goes quiet, eerily quiet, and you see everything with perfect clarity. I picked up my champagne glass, took a long sip, set it down with a soft clink. My voice was calm, clear. "Thank you, Catherine. This is exactly what I needed." The room held its breath. This wasn't the reaction they expected. "You all came here tonight because Catherine promised you a show, so I'm going to give you one." Catherine's smile started to strain, but I kept talking. It's difficult to stand here pretending I didn't see this coming. Difficult to watch 100 people smile at me while knowing what was in that envelope. Difficult to see my husband hide behind his mother like a child. I reached into my clutch, pulled out my own envelope. But you know what's really difficult, Catherine? Maintaining a lie. As long as you have. Her face paled. I have a gift for you, too. I handed her the envelope. She had to take it. Everyone was watching. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside, divorce papers. But not mine. Catherine Elizabeth Thornton versus James Richardson. Filed March 1987. Her first marriage, the one she never talks about. The one Michael doesn't know about. Because Catherine wasn't born into old money. She married into it. James Richardson worked at a car dealership. She left him the second she met William Richardson at a gala. The room went dead silent. Michael's voice cracked. "Mom? What is this?" "It's public record," I said calmly. "I also have the bankruptcy filing from 1985. Catherine Elizabeth Thornton of Newark, New Jersey. Your mother grew up 3 blocks from where my mother did, Michael. In an apartment with a single mom. Just like me." Her society friends stared, mouths open. Everything she built, the old money story, the legacy, she married into it. Then she spent decades making sure no one found out where she really came from. "But here's the interesting part," I continued. "Catherine didn't just erase her past. She made sure no one else could threaten her position." I pulled out my phone, connecting it to the venue's display screen. Text messages appeared. Between Catherine and a private investigator named Dennis Carver. Hired in March. Paid $4,000 to follow me. To document my life. To find anything she could use. Photos filled the screen. Me at the grocery store. Leaving the hospital. All time-stamped. All logged. She also sent an anonymous email to my boss 4 months ago, I said, looking at Dr. Hammond, claiming I might be using my position to benefit Michael's consulting firm. Dr. Hammond's face hardened. The email came from the Rosewood Country Club Business Center. On a Tuesday at 2:47 p.m., between her foundation meeting and her book club. I have the sign-in logs. Catherine tried to speak, but no words came out. She did the same to Emma's college boyfriend, scholarship kid, accused him of targeting Emma for money. I looked at Emma. She was crying openly now. She paid David's first wife $50,000 to leave at the rehearsal dinner, made her sign a non-disclosure agreement. "Your ex-wife told me everything 6 months ago," I said. "We met for coffee. She didn't just warn me. She gave me the name of the private investigator Catherine uses for her special projects. I should have believed her then." I turned back to Catherine. "This was never about me. This was about you. About your terror that someone will see the truth, that you're not old money. You clawed your way in just like I did, and the only way you could keep your position was to destroy anyone who reminded you of where you came from." "You're hysterical." "I'm not hysterical. I'm clear. For the first time, I'm seeing you exactly as you are." I looked around the room. You wanted to witness my humiliation. But what you didn't count on was that I'd been documenting everything. Every slight, every cruel comment. Not for revenge, for survival. Because I knew someday I'd need proof I wasn't crazy. I picked up the divorce papers. Everyone in this room now knows who you are, not the gracious philanthropist, the woman who stalks her daughter-in-law, who throws birthday parties as punishment. I'll sign these papers. Gladly. Because being divorced from your family is the best gift you could have given me. I turned to Michael. "Look at me." He couldn't. His eyes stayed on the floor. "That's what I thought. You didn't love me enough to choose me. You're not a villain. You're just weak, and I deserve better." As I walked toward the exit, my mom and Sarah at my side, I saw the fallout begin. The board members were the first to flee, their quiet murmurs confirming the kill shot had landed. I saw Gerald, the foundation's treasurer, stop by Catherine's table on his way out. "We need to postpone the chairmanship vote," he said, his voice just loud enough to carry. Given everything. Patricia and her book club were next, scurrying out like mice from a sinking ship. My boss, Dr. Hammond, intercepted me by the door. "I should have told you about that email," he said gruffly. "I didn't take it seriously, but I should have warned you." "It's okay," I said, and I meant it. My mom waited until we were in the car, then she took my face in her hands. "I'm proud of you. Not for what you said, but for not letting them see you cry." That's when I almost lost it. Almost. I took one last look at the Rosewood Country Club. Catherine sat at her table surrounded by empty chairs. Behind me, I could hear her voice, sharp and desperate. "This is ridiculous. She's being dramatic. Someone needs to do something." But nobody was listening anymore. The ride home was silent. My mom kept squeezing my hand. Sarah drove, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. When we got to my apartment, I finally let myself breathe. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Miss Mitchell, this is Elena Vasquez. I was at your party tonight. I need to speak with you. Urgently." Elena Vasquez. I knew that name. She was on 3 boards with Catherine. Old guard, the kind of woman who could end careers with a phone call. I almost deleted it. But something made me call back. "Thank you for answering," she said, her voice clipped but not unkind. "What you did tonight took courage. I'm calling because you deserve to know the full picture." My heart stopped. "Catherine didn't just humiliate you for sport. She's been systematically removing women from every organization she's involved with. Women who remind her of her past. Women who earned their seats instead of inheriting them." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I was one of them. 15 years ago. She destroyed my reputation over a fabricated ethics complaint. I lost my position, my marriage, everything." The room spun. I've been collecting evidence ever since, waiting for the right moment, the right person. Tonight, you gave me that moment. She paused. I could hear papers rustling. "There are 7 other women, all with similar stories, all willing to testify. We're filing a formal complaint with every board she sits on. But we need your documentation. Everything you showed tonight." "You want me to do what exactly?" "I want you to help us make sure she can never do this again. Not to you, not to anyone." I looked at my mom, at Sarah. They were both watching me, waiting. This wasn't just about me anymore. "There's something else," Elena continued. "The foundation she chairs, the scholarship fund for underprivileged women, she's been skimming from it for years. Small amounts, untraceable, except I found the accountant willing to talk." My blood went cold. She's been stealing from women like us, women who needed that money, women who reminded her of who she used to be. The hypocrisy was staggering. Catherine built her entire identity on lifting up underprivileged women while systematically destroying them. "What do you need from me?" "Meet me tomorrow. Bring everything you have. We're going to the State Attorney General's office on Friday." After I hung up, Sarah looked at me. "You're actually considering this?" "She threw me a public execution disguised as a birthday party," I said quietly. "But she's been doing this for decades. To women who couldn't fight back. Women who didn't have documentation, who didn't have witnesses." My mom spoke up, her voice steady. "Then you fight. Not just for you, for all of them." I looked at the divorce papers still clutched in my hand. Catherine thought she was ending my story. She had no idea she'd just given me a purpose. I signed the divorce papers the next morning. I didn't want their money. I just wanted out. Michael tried calling. 13 times. On the 14th, I picked up. "I made a mistake. Mom wasn't well." "Stop. I love you." "You don't. You loved the idea of me, but you didn't love me enough to choose me, and I'm done being an option." I hung up, blocked his number. The fallout was quiet but effective. Catherine's chairmanship was postponed indefinitely. Her book club stopped meeting at her house. She stopped going to the country club. Emma texted once. she'd moved to Portland. "Thank you for showing me it's possible." I responded, "Proud of you." David's ex-wife sent flowers. The card read, "Welcome to the other side. It's better here." She was right. I threw myself into work. 6 months later, I got promoted. Department director. Michael sent a congratulations card. I threw it away without opening it. People ask if I regret it, if I wish I'd taken the high road. No, because taking the high road only works if the other person feels shame. And Catherine? She feels entitled. So I held up a mirror. I didn't get revenge by destroying them. I got revenge by refusing to let them destroy me, by standing up, by speaking truth, by not shrinking when they wanted me to shrink. In Catherine's world, that's the ultimate sin. Women like me are supposed to disappear quietly, but I didn't disappear. I'm still here, stronger, clearer, free. Catherine, she's still at the country club, still on committees, but now she sits alone. Michael texted last month. "Mom's lost everything that mattered to her." I replied, "Good, so did I." I'm Ava Mitchell, just Mitchell, and that's more than enough. If you've ever felt the sting of being underestimated, of being made to feel small by people who should have lifted you up, if you've ever had to stand up and speak your truth, even when your voice was shaking, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and if you've ever had to walk away from people who didn't deserve you. Because you're not alone. Anyone who makes you feel like you have to shrink to fit into their world doesn't deserve to be in yours. Remember that.